Real facts about Titanic that no one knows about. True love story on Titanic. There was a true love story on the ship Titanic. Isidore Strauss, the co-owner of Macy's department store, and his wife Ida were first-class passengers. While the ship was sinking, he refused to sit beside his wife on the last lifeboats. He made sure that all women and children board first. She stepped off the lifeboat and refused to leave without him. Titanic Sink was predicted before. A book predicted about its sink 14 years before it happened. 14 years before it sank, Morgan Robertson wrote the novel. It was about the ship Titan, which was unsinkable, would hit an iceberg in the northern Atlantic. Both had one thing in common, that they did not have enough lifeboats for the passengers and crew members too. Largest passenger ship. The RMS Titanic was the world's largest passenger ship when it entered service, measuring 269 meters, 882 feet, in length, and the largest man-made moving object on Earth. Tough job of the musicians. First-class passengers were given a music book containing 352 songs. Musicians on board were required to know them all, in case requests were made. They lost their life in sinking because they continued playing music while the ship went down. This shows how tough a job they have. Only 20 lifeboats. The ship could hold 64. Many lifeboats were sent before they were full. There were only 28 people on the first lifeboat, but the capacity was of 65 people. Luxuries on board the cruise. There were 20,000 bottles of beer on board, 1,500 bottles of wine and 8,000 cigars, all for the use of first-class passengers. While facilities on board included a gym, pool, Turkish bath, a kennel for first-class dogs, and a squash court. It even had its own on-board newspaper, the Atlantic Daily Bulletin. Casualties reported during construction. There were 246 injuries and 2 deaths recorded during the ship's 26-month construction in Belfast. Titanic was warned prior. On April 14, 1912, the Titanic radio operators were warned 6 times about the drift ice in the North Atlantic. Richest man on the ship. John Jacob Astor was the richest passenger on board, with a net worth of around $85 million, approximately $2 BN today. Legend has it that once the ship hit the iceberg, he exclaimed, "I had asked for ice, but not in such quantities." Ship's baker survived. Charles Jockin, who was a baker on the ship, was among the survivors. He spent 2 hours in water before being rescued. He mentioned that he drank a lot of whiskies beforehand. Ship's final dinner was a feast. Last meal served on the ship consisted of 10 courses. The menu included oysters, cream of barley soup, poached salmon and much more. All on-board engineers gave their lives. All the engineers gave their lives just to save others. Every engineer went down with the ship. They stood behind the passengers so that they could escape.